Opinions and ideas expressed in the following Moraine Valley Broadcast Channel recording are those of its creators and do not represent the views of Moraine Valley Community College.
Hello, welcome to Connor's Basement. I'm the host, Connor, and we're here with
Jake
and Omar.
And we're here to discuss the issue called the Fight for 15.
Ding, ding, ding.
It has to do with workers in America and whether the minimum wage should be $15 an hour and whether they deserve a union along with this. So let's go over our positions first. I am for the Fight for 15. What are you?
Jake is for the Fight for 15.
Omar is for the Fight for 15 as well.
All right. So let's discuss, did your position change since we began studying the Fight for 15?
Yes, it actually has changed, Connor. I didn't really know much about the Fight for 15. That's basically why it changed. As I got knowledge and learned more about it in class, because originally I didn't really care because I never worked in the fast food industry. Wait, that's another thing. I just realized something that...
What did you realize?
That's automatically what we assume. Like, we think of the Fight for 15 as, like, fast food workers and, like, they're lazy or just burger flippers, you know? And it's just... We look down on those workers and they go on strike and we assume that...
they're not worth it?
Yeah, like, why do they deserve $15 an hour?
They're just burger flippers. That's what everyone thinks.
Like a teen job. Like, I could be doing that job right now, not a 30-year-old.
Yeah, right. So, well, how did yours change?
Well, to be honest, at first I said, why would they get $15 an hour? I mean, they're only burger flippers, probably like high school students. They're probably going to spend their money on just dumb stuff, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But then after after the research, found out that it'll actually lift up, like, a lot of Americans up from poverty because it'll take them off government assistance and it'll cost the public less, like, speaking of taxes.
Yeah, right. So then, I thought at first that raising minimum wage would raise prices and everything, but I was mistaken. I thought this just because of general society, people I've heard saying about it, but after I learned the facts, my position changed.
Like in Australia. Remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Alrighty, so then what is our next objective here?
Have you come across it on social media or anything of that nature?
Yes, I have. I actually put out a status a while ago, and I said, do you support fast food workers getting a starting wage of $15 an hour, any union? And I got a couple responses. One was no, because it will cause inflation. That's already a major problem that the U.S. is facing. As much as it would be nice, businesses would hire less people and raise their prices considerably in order to stay in business. Now, I think this person has no credibility to their answer. I used to think the same thing until I learned the facts that it doesn't cause any inflation, or at least to other aspects of the economy besides the food and the prices of the food. I got a yes, because minimum wage has not adjusted, nor risen, even as inflation and the cost of living has continued to rise. So, it seems as though, this person that says yes brings up a good point. Inflation, the cost of the living, minimum wage hasn't kept up with it. But then the person that says no says that it will cause more inflation. What do you guys think about this?
Oh, I didn't post. I was too scared that my dumbass friends were going to fight with my family. But
yeah, but what do you think about these people's arguments? I mean,
I don't know. I feel like they don't know enough. Like, if they took one class with Bill the Man Hogan, I think that they'd learn a little bit more.
I agree. But I also think that the person who said no, just states something that's false. He says that inflation, that raising the minimum wage will cause inflation, which simply isn't necessarily true. And then the person who said yes stated a fact, whether they knew it or not. Minimum wage has not adjusted to the cost of living as time has gone on. So I think that's interesting.
That is very
You have any thoughts on these?
I feel like people just think they know everything just if they read something, like, let's say, on social media, like Facebook.
Yeah, or the internet.
Yeah, which is, like, complete bullshit.
Yeah. Just, yeah.
Okay, I got another question for you guys. What about these memes we saw in class?
Ooh, the memes were kind of funny.
The dank ones.
The dank memes they're pretty funny. But I think it just points more to how people don't know any of the facts about the situation in America.
Yeah.
And how people will believe what they see on the internet.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of people, I've seen a lot of these memes, and a lot of people agree with them just because they're memes, you know.
Yeah. I feel like they put, like, I don't know, they use, like, what's the word I'm looking for? Like dividing, what's the word? Like segregation. You know what I'm talking about.
Oh,
like diversity, like not diversity, the total opposite. Like how they put like the minorities.
Oh, in the memes?
You know what I mean? Like, yeah, they put like they show how like it's all like, oh, this white ambulance like worker, you know,
right,
like
right,
that, yeah. And then there's like these black protesters who like, oh, they're not doing anything, they're just standing in front of a.
Yeah, I
you know
think that
mean?
just goes to show more about like
how we perceive people.
Yeah, or how like the general public perceives like one thing is like, oh, that's a good thing, and one thing is like that's a bad lazy thing. Yeah. It's almost interesting, like these memes are hitting at our core beliefs.
Yeah. It's our morals.
And yeah, our morals, like getting to people who are wrong.
Okay.
You know, it gets to people that are wrong.
Yeah.
So we'll move on.
Okay, I got another one. Why does the general public feel the way that they do about the Fight for 15? Which kind of connects with the memes, I think.
Yeah, definitely. I think basically the general public thinks that that they were raised and taught a certain way, and they hear from their peers, and they formulate their conclusions based on purely what they hear. But a lot of times, what they hear from their peers isn't the truth. What do you think about this?
Well, to be honest, like I said, on social media, as long as someone reads something, they think it's like automatically 100% true, which actually it's not. It's just one educated person that just puts a random post, and everyone thinks it's correct.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not. Just like the memes, half of the memes we saw was complete bullshit.
But what about you? Like, do you think you're subject to this, like, general public view of thinking? Like, have your parents, like, instilled on you, like, any of the notions that, you know, this could be a bad thing, or, like, any false beliefs?
Well, on social media, everyone's saying, why would they get $15 an hour? They're burger flippers. That automatically put that thought in my head that that's true. Why would they get $15 an hour? I mean, there's way more jobs that deserve more than $15 an hour, and they're not making that. Why would burger flippers get that?
Do you know any people who work in any of these fields? Like,
I do.
In, like, what, like at McDonald's or something?
It's actually at Burger King.
Yeah?
Yeah.
And who is this? Who is this?
It's one of my friends. It's not, like, in school or something.
Okay. So do you think, like, you know, knowing that your friend works there, like, how would you feel if you made $15 an hour?
I'd feel like, since he's in high school, he doesn't support his family or anything. I feel like that would be, like, overrated. But, like, for other people, you know, like the 30-year-old people and stuff, I think it's worth it. People that have families.
I'd get jealous,
you know?
to be honest.
Yeah, me too. I think that's a main thing. Like, people just get jealous of these people who make higher wages, and they just have these false beliefs because they're jealous. You know, it could be. So then that leaves us to our last point. So what is it?
It is what do you think is the most effective arguments for or against the Fight for 15?
Okay. So I was really thinking about this because after I reached my conclusion in class, I'm thinking I know so many people who think wrongly about this subject.
Mm-hmm.
So how do we convince them? I think it really has to do with just showing people the facts that, you know, taxes could be reduced by higher wages, that prices more or less stay the same. You know, all these main points that people get fed up with. They just need to know what really happens.
I think it has to go, well, this is my perspective, basically our morals. I'm a big morals person, and I mean, I believe it's right we have the right to make enough money to support ourselves and our families. And if we can't do that, then I don't know. What do you got to say, Omar?
Well, to be honest, I think that fast food workers and other low-wage workers deserve to make a living wage and join a union. I mean, it's been assumed that a fight for 15 will increase the prices on the public, but in reality, it will save the public money.
Right. I mean, do you think that'd be a good argument then, to the public, like people who aren't for it, that, there's people with families, maybe showing them examples of, like, people with families who need the money?
Yeah.
You think that's a good argument?
Mm-hmm.
I think it will, yeah.
You think there's any other arguments you could make, or things to say to people who don't believe in it?
Well, it's not just going to benefit the fast food workers and the low-wage workers. If they get the $15 an hour, it'll actually affect them, too. It'll be like the public
Affect
itself.
everybody.
Yeah. It'll help everyone.
Exactly. All right.
We got to wrap.
Well, we'll wrap this up. Thank you for tuning in to Connor's Basement. We loved having you.